comes George with his first attempt at parking the 32 grand Caravan.
Mr. Policeman, can you be our reversing sensors?
Beep, 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 beep. Welcome to Highbridge Caravans in Devon, just off of the A38 that you can probably see behind me. Today we're joined by Ali from Highbridge, and we're going to go through a few things about caravans. Our regular audience are probably thinking, why are you talking about caravans? Well, actually caravans are pretty cool, and since lockdown last year and COVID has come along, we've seen a real upsurge in people getting into camping and caravanning because you can't do your abroad holidays, so people are staying in this country, and therefore we're getting loads more caravans coming down into the southwest, and Ali is going to tell us a little bit about the safety features and things like that on the caravans. Now, this caravan behind us here, that's £32,000 worth of caravan. It's a really nice one. And stick around to the end of the video because you're going to see George try and reverse 32 grand's worth of caravan into a space. It's really funny, okay? So stick around for that. But in the meantime, Ali, what have you seen lately with regards to the upsurge in second-hand caravans?
So the last couple of years, people have been buying privately instead of buying from dealers, and they found that it's very dangerous on the roads and also when using them on caravan sites if they're not serviced in the correct manner. So it's really important to get all that done, so yeah.
So just like your cars, the caravans need servicing as well, especially if they've been left and not been used for quite a while. So we're going to have a look at that a little bit later. George is currently having a nose around inside the caravan there, and now I'm going to bring on Chris from Devon and Somerset Fire and Rescue. He's going to have a little conversation with Ali about some certain things about the caravans. But just before we do that, Ali, do you know how much it would cost to close the A38 there per hour?
No, I've never really thought about it, no.
It costs £1 million an hour roughly to the local economy to close that road. So if we do get caravan incidents where they fall over or they get burst tyres or whatever, £1 million an hour cost to the local economy if we have to close that road. But for now, let's get Chris on and let's talk about some of the things around this caravan.
We've just been talking about some of the terminology when it comes to caravans, about nose weight, towing weight, and the whole minefield to do with licensing. What can you give us some advice on any of that?
Well, I'd say look at it all really, because the thing is, you know, you do need the right license, and you do need to know about towing weights and nose weights as well, what the car can take on the back of it, because that can alter the stability on the road.
Okay, so towing weights, where's the best place to get that information?
Every car has its own towing weight on its plate, so you always need to check that first. But also on the caravan itself, they're all plated with weights as well, or they should be. Otherwise, dealerships like ourselves will obviously advise customers, you know, whatever they need to know really. So
brilliant. And I guess you can get advice from DVLA, check out your licensing.
Yeah, DVLA, it's all online. You can put your driving license straight in and it will tell you what you can tow as well. So
brilliant. Okay, there's lots of towing courses out there.
Yeah.
Would you recommend for a beginner novice to go for a trailer course, a driving course?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I mean, I did my towing license a little while back, B+E, which allows me to tow larger trailers and caravans. And it is important because you can't just jump in a car and put a trailer on the back or a caravan and go. You have to have the right license, and you have to have a course as well, really, just for confidence, if anything. So yeah.
Okay, last thing before we go into some of the safety aspects of the caravan, bit of myth busting. What about, who is your typical client? Is it the more mature couple, family like myself?
Well, it used to be years ago. However, now everyone's buying caravans of all ages. But with that, going back to licensing, obviously that's what's important, because younger generation don't have the licenses to tow all trailers. But yeah, everybody's buying these days because they're becoming more attractive, and it is a great family holiday as well. So
young person, the youngest person you've had buy a caravan?
I think from memory 22, a couple of young children, and they were very sensible, to be fair. But you know, you do need to have your head screwed on.
So should we bring George back into this? I think he's been in the caravan having a bit of a look around.
Yeah, he's wandering around somewhere, isn't he? Yeah.
Okay.
Right, 32 grand on the caravan, 6'4", not too shabby. Right, this thing's even got a sink. It's literally like a house on wheels. It's so cool. I don't want to break anything there. Oh.
So what do you reckon, George?
So
Sell the ST for this one, mate?
I'm just trying not to break anything. Sell the ST for a Caravan.
Obviously, you'll need something to like tow it with, so you'll have to buy something, you know, like a proper car. But
I mean, I've got like what, between a £5,000 and £6,000 car. They're probably gonna let me know in the comments and say a lot less than that. But the reality of it is, would I trade my car for a Caravan?
Yeah.
No. However, up until today, I kind of thought, I'm not really into Caravans, you know.
No.
But seeing them, I'd like to think that my opinion's been changed. Now, in regards to that,
yeah.
my view is, I know that sort of, I can imagine the most of us probably don't have the kind of money to be purchasing a brand new setup like this.
Yeah.
Now, in regards to that, what kind of money are we talking when it comes to a second-hand Caravan?
Yeah.
But more importantly, what kind of money are we talking in regards to getting a safe one that's actually good and isn't going to cause any accidents on the road? Because that's what's important here.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, obviously service history with any vehicle, whatever you buy, is important. And the thing is, if it's been cared for, then that's, you know, equally as important, because you can always tell. Obviously with Caravans, I would suggest that, you know, go for something that's from a dealership, ideally, if you don't know anything about it. However, you know, if you know the person that's selling it, then that's equally as good. But if you do buy something, don't go too far, but just take it to somewhere that can service it, make sure it's all road safe and safe to use on a campsite.
What we're talking about ballpark figures then? Say my car, £3,000 to £4,000 to buy an unmodified, unmolested, full focus ST. Are we talking double that, triple that to get
so
your
I mean,
ballpark
you know,
Caravan?
anything from sort of £4,000 to £5,000 upwards is the sensible price range. You will find that people try to get more for the older ones because, especially at the moment, being everything's really popular. But you know, if you can stretch it to more 8,000 to 10,000, that's going to be better, because you're going to get something newer. You know, and also buy from a dealer. You'll get something that price from a dealer, providing they've got the stock.
Right, guys, I'm very, very thankful to Ali for giving any advice to both the police and the Devon and Somerset Fire Service earlier in the video today. But what we're going to do now is we're going to bring Chris on, and we're going to go through some really, really exciting stuff in regards to things that could potentially go wrong. Now, I need to learn something, so I think it's about time you did too. Now, what I have just found out is that these, just like a home, have smoke detectors. So not only do you have the safety in your own home to avoid any accidents, you have things like this that can either be self-tapped into the roof or self-adhesive attached. So that's going to be pretty cool. But guys, let's get to it. We've got some crazy examples as to why it's important to adhere to all the advice that we've been giving in these videos, because some of the things we've got behind the camera down there will really hit home. Now, I was thinking, just really quickly before we bring Chris on, I'm sure they're going to want to know as well, theft. How do you prevent someone stealing your Caravan? Because it's an amazing piece of kit, super expensive, but just really quickly, what do you do?
So there's two methods really. You can put your traditional sort of wheel clamp scenario, and there's lots of variants within that. And you can also have a hitch lock as well on the front to stop people operating the hitch, to link it onto cars, etc. So that's really the main features. There is other things like trackers and alarm, but at the same time, you've just got to make it hard for them to steal it, really.
So Chris, am I right in thinking you used to work here? You're not only just a fire service guy.
So I used to work in the industry and also being the watch manager here at the local fire station. Bit of a vested interest in hybrids as well. So
I'm going to have to bring attention to this, because the first thing I notice on this giant orange extension cable is this right here. But yeah, it's all frayed and messed up. Is that not going to be a massive fire risk?
That is going to be absolutely horrendous.
I'm going to give this to you anyway. You can talk us through that.
I can just take you through this. So these hookup leads, this is predominantly what's going to be used on the campsites, taking 240 volt electric from the mains to the Caravans. We advise anyone with these leads, they've got to be flaked out. They mustn't be coiled up, just like extension leads.
Guys, let's take this up and show you. This would quite literally set your house on wheels on fire. So if this doesn't show you why you should pay attention to things like this, I don't know what will. But yeah, Chris, you were saying, so that's probably been trapped in a door.
It's not just about fire hazard, it's also about the hazard to you. Potential electric shock.
Yeah, sure.
So
240 volts.
So get rid of it.
Yeah, bin that one. And we mentioned on this as well. So this is the cable that goes from the calor gas or propane tank into the oven.
Two types of gas cylinders you predominantly see in the Caravans. The orange cylinders, which is the propane, and the blue cylinders, which is the butane. We've got a 6 kilo propane here, and the regulator. The regulator goes...
Yeah, it clips in on the top of this, doesn't it?
Yep.
Clips in on there.
Nice and simple, screws into there, reverse thread, and goes straight up via the Jubilee clip and into the assembly at the front of the Caravan.
Now, in regards to that, you mentioned there's loads of writing on the side. Now, I noticed that this was the date that it was made in 1991.
Yep.
And it had to be used and or thrown in the bin by the 7th, 2014.
And that's really important. So when it comes into the likes of Highbridge or any other reputable dealer, they will check the date on your gas pipe, and they will make sure that it's safe and satisfactory.
But even still, guys, it's down to you guys to do some checks too. You guys are going to learn from the video, and hopefully, even if you do buy it from a reputable dealer, it's also down to you to be checking things like this too. But this needs to get in the bin as well. Chris, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you giving me a personal look into this. I, for one, have learned something, and I'm sure they have too. But I think it's about time we swiftly move on to Owen, who is filming some personal things that he's experienced in the police force in regards to everything road safety. So guys, let's get a move on, and we'll see you guys shortly.
So there's other things that you need to be checking about the mechanics of towing the caravan. You've got simple things like the tow ball itself. Now please don't grease the tow ball, because that will cause instability of the caravan. It will cause it to move around more than it should do. And then you've got the things that aren't quite so easy to see. Now if we look at this is the inside of the brake drums, and these were the bearings that came out of it. Now these aren't going to be easy for somebody to see when they're looking at a caravan or a second-hand caravan or by the side of the road. These are things that need to be checked by a dealer or an authorized person. You know, it's really difficult, and I can't stress it enough that if you are buying a private caravan, then you take somebody who knows what they're looking at, and you can look at the service records for that vehicle. We've also got things like the brake shoes here, and you can see from this one where it's just got old and it's starting to peel away, and that will just start to come away from the shoe. So again, it's really difficult to see, but it just makes you realise that these things need to be serviced just the same as the car. It's really important. So if we look at this tyre then, it looks like a really good tyre. There's loads of depth in the tread, and you can even see the little knobbly bits. But then as we pan away from it, we can see that this tyre was actually a blowout. And in this instance, it was a spare tyre that was being used on a caravan. Now, the tyre had a puncture on the one that was actually being used, so they changed it for the spare tyre. Now, this spare tyre had been sitting around since the caravan was new, and it had never been used, so the tyre was out of date, and then it just blew out, and that's the result that you get. Really dangerous, okay? So always check for the date of manufacture on the side of the tyre wall, because they do perish, and that's what happens. So obviously we're going to check for the tread depth and stuff like that, and on this one, somewhere around here, you can actually see where the cord is exposed. There we go. So that has worn unevenly, and you can see where the cord is exposed on the tyre. Now that's 3 points, the same as it would be for any tyre on any vehicle. You're going to get 3 points and a hefty fine for that. So, you know, aside from the fact that it's really dangerous, okay, you must be checking the whole of the tyre, and of course, like I said, the dates on the side. So if we look at some other things about the mechanics of the vehicle, on this one you can see it's got a breakaway cable. Okay, now this came off a Caravan that came in here. How dangerous is that? Okay, that hasn't been checked, and it's broken away. And if that breaks, then there is nothing to operate the handbrake on the vehicle. Okay, so it's really important that you check the breakaway cable. So now we've been talking about driving licenses. Now's probably quite a good time to talk about speed limits and driving styles. So the speed limit normally on the motorway is 70, but for a caravan it's 60. And you know, there's a reason for that, because if you have a blowout at 60 miles an hour whilst towing a caravan, it's not going to end well, is it? So please watch those speed limits. They're limits, they're not targets. And also look at the conditions that you're driving in. If it's really windy, look at this caravan. You know, it's just going to catch the wind. And I'm sure you've seen, as anybody else has, when you're driving down the motorway, you see a car that's towing a caravan, and the caravan's going like this. And just watch those conditions, and you know, the conditions that you're driving in. And just drive sensibly, okay? Because in Devon and Cornwall alone in 2019 we had 129 caravans involved in incidents on our main arterial routes, and that's just the M5, the A30 and the A38. So those three roads, 129 instances. Even in 2020 with the lockdown, 74 incidents involving caravans. And some of those are really serious accidents. And like we said right at the beginning of the video, £1 million an hour to close one of these main arterial routes. So last year, what's that potentially, if it was just for 1 hour for each incident, £74 million cost to the local communities. So now we're going to have a little look at the towing vehicle itself. Now if we look at the Santa Fe here, you can see that it's got the mirrors fitted already. Now you need to have those mirrors to give you a better view of what's behind you because of the length that you're towing. Now if you go onto the Camping and Caravanning Club website, there are better videos on there with regards to specifics, so have a look on there. There is one that's just about mirrors and things like that, so please go on and have a look at that. Now if we open up the door, we're going to have a look at the actual towing weight and the capabilities of the vehicle. Now this one has got the chassis plate printed there. Most vehicles will have it under the bonnet, and on that plate it tells you the maximum weight that you can tow on the vehicle. Now a vehicle with a gross vehicle weight of 3,500 kilos or less can only tow to a certain point, so it can only tow a trailer up to a certain size and weight. A heavier vehicle can tow a trailer that is bigger than that, okay? But what you need to look at is what your vehicle is and what its capabilities are, so that you don't get yourself in trouble. So have a look in the manual or seek some advice from a reputable dealer or somebody that really knows what they're talking about to get that definitive answer as to the capabilities of the vehicle that you intend to tow with. So now we've had a little look at the Santa Fe here and the chassis plate, and we've said what it can tow. Let's have a look at driving licenses. So if you look at these two driving licenses, the top license is a pre-1997 one, and the bottom one, which is George's, is after 1997. And you can see that there's a difference between the two entitlements. Okay, now the top one is what is fondly termed as granddad rights, and that means that people that passed their test before 1997 were automatically given entitlements on their licenses, and that stopped in 1997. So now, in order to get those entitlements, you have to pass tests and things like that. So please check your driving license before you tow anything to make sure that you have that entitlement, and also check the weights that you are entitled to tow, because it may vary and you may not be entitled to tow something that is huge. Okay, so just check that before you tow anything anywhere.
Right everyone, so as if it wasn't stressful enough having the responsibility to try and maneuver this thing around, I've got to film it at the same time, try and not crash £32,000 worth of Caravan, but at the same time drive a car I've never driven before. Don't worry, it's on private land, but if you want to see me stress out, I suggest you stick around till about 30 seconds time. But for now, I'm gonna get this sorted, I'm gonna get it all set up so that we don't screw up the videoing, and I'm gonna bring you guys along with me. So for context, to anyone that somehow has not watched this video, maybe you just come in on someone else watching this video, I've got 32 grand Caravan attached to our Hyundai that's not an i30N, and I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing. You've given me too much responsibility, but we're gonna wing it.
If you carry on as you are, keep going forward, carry on down,
Yeah.
okay? And then if you want to go, turn to the right.
Now?
Yeah, turn to the right, and you'll see the Caravan back end goes the other way.
Oh god, that's really sensitive.
Yeah, keep going all the way to the right. Stop. I'll put it in reverse.
I know how to do that.
Right, now go back on that angle, and you'll see it's opposites turning. So if you want the Caravan to go right, you turn left, and if you want it to go left, you turn right.
He's going to jackknife it in a minute.
You see the chain post nearest to Mr. Policeman?
Yeah.
You need to be the other side of that, so you're going to go...
We're going on away from Owen, yeah.
Yeah. So more right hand down, full right hand down. Keep going, full right hand, and then straight back, full left. Okay. Full left, as you can see it's coming out the other side.
Is Ali happy with him hitting the poles?
Mr. Policeman, can you be our reversing sensors?
Beep, 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 beep. You're about 5 feet from the wall. It's up to Ali, it's his Caravan. I think he's pretty in the box. Have you got this? They got a spare clutch.
Have you considered an automatic?
I'd say we're in. We're in, right? Stick your schnoz in here.
Mate, it smells like bins out here.
Now lads, in case you doubted my skills, that's how far the Caravan went in. Look at those posts. Look at those posts. I apologise for the JCB in the background. But yeah guys, I did it. I didn't die, neither did the Caravan. Ali basically doesn't hate me, so that's always a bonus. Yeah, we survived. Kudos to me.
So, how do you think that went?
Well, I think they're going to need a new clutch in the Santa Fe. And yeah, we've managed to get half an hour's worth of parking video down to about a minute and a half. So yeah, I think it went pretty well, to be honest.
Do you think it's put George off buying a Caravan?
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be buying a Caravan anytime soon.
Nah,
yeah.
Okay.
Well, thanks for getting to the end of the video. I hope you've learned something new today. Yeah, Caravans, you know, it's all about staying safe on the road, of course, and making sure that you get your Caravan checked. Chris?
Yeah, absolutely. I think for myself, I'd like to say a massive thank you to Highbridge here at Team Grace near Bovey Tracy for accommodating us today. If you're thinking about buying a Caravan, just get it checked over.
One last thing from me, these really nice comfortable chairs that we've been sitting on, these are going to be a competition prize for you. So if you're watching this on the Devon and Cornwall Facebook page, please comment below what you've learned from this video, whether you think it was a worthwhile video for you to watch, and then we will pick the best comment out of it and you will get to have these chairs. We'll make contact with you. So yeah, please comment below, give us a thumbs up, and stay safe on the road.